What if Palpatine time traveled to the Jedi Council? In the Star Wars saga, Palpatine rose to power and became the Emperor, ruling the galaxy for over 2 decades. He had completed his greatest goal of destroying the Jedi. But what if, during his rule as Emperor, he time traveled back to the Jedi Council and spoke to them? How would that change the Star Wars timeline we all know and love today?
Ignite your imagination with Fantasy Sabers.
Let's start today's story in the Imperial Palace on Coruscant. Emperor Palpatine is sitting atop his triumphant throne, meditating on the dark side of the Force. Sidious focuses his thoughts on all parts of the Force. He thinks back to his past, to his family on Naboo who never saw his true potential. He remembered his master, Darth Plagueis, how he was the only one to see Palpatine for who he truly was, a leader, someone destined for greatness. But even Plagueis' vision was flawed. He reclused himself to pitiful experiments on the Force. As Palpatine's mind ran rampant, his thoughts began to center on the Jedi. He recalls his time as Chancellor, having to see the Jedi Council every single day, his greatest enemy right in front of him, their smug and arrogant faces as they sat in their pretentious Jedi tower. Yoda, Windu, Ki-Adi-Mundi, all of them. Palpatine hated them. He wished he could go back in time and inform them of their future, how he murders each and every one of them and takes control of the galaxy. As he conjures this thought, the Force answers, and the world around him begins to shake, and the Force sends him back in time to the end of the Clone Wars as he appears in the center of the Council chambers. When Sidious opened his eyes, he was no longer in the Imperial Palace. He was in the most hated place in the world. Around him sat the 12 Jedi Masters of the Clone Wars. As his body materialized in the room, he heard Master Windu say that Anakin Skywalker has killed Count Dooku and that the war is nearing its end. Sidious knew that he was in the final days of the Clone Wars. He couldn't believe his eyes as he spun around to observe where he was. Was he really back during the Clone Wars, he thought to himself? Sidious ignites his red lightsaber from his sleeve, almost instinctively as he locked eyes with the Masters. The entire council gasped as they unanimously looked at the Sith. They didn't know what to do. None of them understood. 1 second there was no one there, and the next, this red-sabered Sith had appeared out of thin air. Yoda stood from his chair and looked closely at the hooded figure.
Speak, you will. Who are you?
The Sith gave a low laugh. His face was burned and hidden, and none of them recognized him. Windu stepped forward. You are wielding a red blade. You will surrender and be taken into custody. At this moment, Sidious didn't understand where he was. He thought this was maybe a dream, a projection from the Force. He didn't think it was actually real. But what he did know was that he was going to make the most of it. He would complete his dream of telling the Jedi their fate, of watching their faces drop as they realize they lose the war and lose peace.
Calm yourself, Master Windu. I have killed each of you before, and I will happily do it again.
The council reacted with confusion. Yoda frowned.
A trick this could be.
The Sith turned, looking at each master one by one. He pointed first to Ki-Adi-Mundi.
You will be shot in the back by your own clones. You do not last long.
He then looked at Plo Koon.
Your starfighter explodes before you realize what is happening.
Plo shifted in his feet, unsure what to say. The Sith moved on.
Agen Kola, Sazy Ten Kit Fisto, you all die in my office. You barely even put up a fight.
The 3 Jedi stared at him, confused and tense. Finally, the Sith faced Windu.
And you, Master Windu, you die at my feet. You beg for help from the man you trusted most.
Windu clenched his jaw but said nothing. The Sith began to laugh again.
You want to know who I am? I am the Sith who destroys all of you. I ruled your future for 20 years.
The Jedi looked between each other, unsure if he was lying, insane, or telling the truth. The Sith then said the words that froze the entire room.
And Anakin Skywalker is mine.
Several Jedi straightened, shocked by the claim. Yoda narrowed his eyes.
Lies this could be.
The Jedi stepped forward slightly.
I turned him, I corrupted him. He kills younglings and burns your temple to the ground.
The room went silent. None of the Jedi knew how to respond. and the Sith simply stood there, enjoying the reaction he had always wanted to see. Windu announces that he's had enough and ignites his amethyst blade. Other masters like Ki-Adi-Mundi and Kit Fisto follow him, and the masters narrow in on Sidious from all directions. As they prepare to arrest him, Sidious raises his hand and throws them all to the ground, expelling a giant flurry of force lightning in a 360-degree motion. Every master is pushed to the ground disorientated, giving Sidious enough time to smash the chamber windows and escape down the temple and into the bustling city. Hey guys, the Fantasy Sabers Christmas sale is officially live, where all our deluxe replicas, including Anakin, Obi-Wan, Luke and Darth Vader, are the cheapest they've ever been, and the cheapest on any site in the market. We're also giving away a free The Chosen One Anakin Deluxe replica with orders over $250 USD cart value. This is the perfect opportunity to pick up a saber as a gift for your friend or family member, or if you've been thinking about grabbing one for yourself, this will be the last big sale we do until May next year, so now is the time. I will leave a link to the website in the description below, or type fantasysabers.com on Google. Thanks again, and back to the video. Sidious goes straight to the one person who will understand his position. He sneaks into the Republic Executive Building, past all the guards using the secret routes he developed himself years prior, and into Chancellor Palpatine's office. Chancellor Palpatine sat at his desk, but was startled by the intruder. "Who are you?" the Chancellor demanded. Sidious lowered his hood just enough to show the burned ruin of his face. "I am you," he said. Palpatine frowned. "Impossible." Palpatine didn't want to believe his fate. He wouldn't believe it. As Sidious began to laugh, Palpatine's rage boiled over, and he ignited his lightsaber and leaped forward. The two clashed back and forth as they leaped across the office. Both were equally proficient in the Force, masters in their own right. While Sidious had an extra 20 years of experience and knowledge, Palpatine was in a younger frame and moved faster and more efficiently. While the younger Palpatine fought well, Sidious was stronger, more experienced, and far more ruthless. He disarmed his younger self and held his blade at his throat. "Still doubt me?" he asked. The Chancellor stared, breathing hard. He didn't believe it. How could he believe in time travel? That made no sense. Sidious leaned in closer. "Naboo, your parents, how you killed them and made it look like an accident. No one knows that secret except you." The Chancellor froze. The truth hit him. This was real. This was himself, older, scarred, and powerful. Slowly, he lowered his hands. The Chancellor demanded to know why he had come back. Sidious admits he wanted to watch the arrogant Jedi realize they were about to lose, but now that he's here, he realizes that he has an opportunity to destroy the Jedi and take over the galaxy in an even greater way than before. "In my timeline, I destroy the Jedi with Order 66. The clones wipe out their entire order. But Skywalker, he fails me at the final moment. He fights Kenobi on Mustafar and loses. His limbs are severed. He never reaches his true potential." The Chancellor listened closely as Sidious continued. "This must be changed. Anakin was meant to be far stronger, but Padme Amidala followed him to Mustafar. She brought Kenobi right to him. Her interference ruined everything." The Chancellor frowned. "So the girl is the problem?" Sidious nodded. "Remove her, and Anakin will not be distracted. Without her, he will not hesitate. With her gone, he will embrace the dark side fully." The two Sith stood in silence for a moment, each understanding the weight of this new plan as they prepared to reshape the future together. Meanwhile, the Jedi Council summons Anakin Skywalker to the council chambers. Yoda told him about the Sith intruder, about how the hooded figure had spoken his name and claimed that Anakin belonged to him. They asked if he knew anything about it. Anakin stayed quiet at first, unsure what to say, but Yoda pressed him. "Connected to the matter you spoke of yesterday, could it be?" At first, Anakin deflected. "I don't know what you're talking about, Master." The council continues to press Anakin. They sensed the conflict in him. They knew he was hiding something. "This is a matter of the Order's survival, Skywalker. Tell us what you know now." Anakin stumbles on his words. He was trapped. Obi-Wan stepped forward and told Anakin to be honest with the council. "Anakin, if what the Sith says is true, you will turn to the dark side. So if you have any information to help us, you must say. This could save your future, it could save the Jedi, but it would also save the galaxy. This is your moment, Anakin. Anakin felt trapped, with every master staring at him, waiting. He finally admitted he had no idea who the Sith was, but there was something else. He confessed his secret marriage to Padme, and he told them about his visions that he'd been having of her dying in childbirth. The entire council fell silent, no one moved, no one spoke. Mace Windu exchanged a long look with Yoda and then with Obi-Wan. Every master understood the weight of this revelation. Anakin had hidden a marriage for years. He had formed powerful attachments. He was suffering from visions and emotional instability. For the Jedi, this was dangerous. Before they could respond, Anakin tried to defend himself. He said he hid his marriage because he feared being expelled. He said Padme was everything to him and that he only wanted to save her. Obi-Wan walked closer and told him if he had trusted them sooner, they might have been able to help. But even as Obi-Wan spoke gently, Anakin could feel the judgment in the room. Windu then stepped forward and told Anakin that the Sith mentioning him was extremely concerning, especially now they knew how much Anakin was hiding. The council agreed they needed to detain Anakin temporarily, not as punishment, but to determine whether the Sith Lord had already begun influencing him. Anakin's heart sank. He felt betrayed, cornered, and misunderstood. He begged them not to separate him from Padme, not when she was the one he was trying to save. Windu ordered 2 senior Jedi to escort him to a sealed meditation chamber for evaluation. Anakin turned to Obi-Wan for help, but Kenobi looked conflicted and said nothing. He would not challenge the council's decision. Feeling trapped, Anakin allowed himself to be escorted out, but inside he was panicking, fear and anger growing with every step he took away from the council doors. Meanwhile, Emperor Sidious and Chancellor Palpatine finished going over the details of the timeline. Sidious explained that Anakin becoming emotionally unstable was the worst thing that could happen. If Anakin panicked, the Jedi would confront him, pressure him, or even try to restrain him, and that would push Anakin straight into the Sith's hands. This helped the Sith in one way, but it also made the situation chaotic and unpredictable. Sidious decided that he could not leave this to chance, and that he needed to intervene directly. Back inside the Jedi Temple, Anakin walked down the hallway with 2 senior Jedi escorting him. His fear kept building. He could feel Padme's worry from across the city, and his visions of her dying were becoming stronger and clearer. Anakin felt like he was losing control. As they continued down the hall, the lights suddenly flickered. The Jedi escorts paused and looked around, unsure what was happening. Then, from the shadows ahead, Sidious stepped out of the corridor. Anakin felt the dark presence immediately. The Jedi guarding Anakin ignited their lightsabers at once, but Sidious moved faster than any of them could react. With one quick burst of Force lightning, he hits one in the chest and uses his lightsaber to cut the other one down in seconds. Their bodies hit the floor before Anakin could even speak. He stepped back horrified, unsure who this scarred Sith was or why he appeared out of nowhere. Sidious lowered his weapon and spoke in a calm voice.
I am not here to harm you. I am here to save you.
Anakin's breathing tightened. Who are you? He demanded. Sidious did not give him a name. Instead, he said,
I am someone who has already seen your future. I have seen your wife die in your arms. I have seen Obi-Wan walk away while you burn alive. I have seen the Jedi turn on you the moment they learn what you hide.
Anakin's stomach dropped. Every detail of his nightmare, every vision he feared, the stranger was speaking to them aloud. He could not find any words. Sidious stepped closer.
I offer you one thing. A path where Padme lives. A path where no one restrains you. No judgment. No fear.
For the first time since the conversation began, Anakin did not pull away. His fear and desperation outweighed his suspicion. How? He whispered. Sidious pointed down the side corridor.
Leave the temple now. Go to Chancellor Palpatine's office. The Jedi will not reach you. I will make sure of it.
Anakin hesitated. He knew leaving would break every rule he had ever lived by, but the thought of Padme dying, the vision he saw over and over, was stronger than his loyalty to the Order. After a long moment, he nodded. With Sidious leading the way, Anakin slipped into a side passage and began moving quickly through the temple, leaving the council, the order, and everything he knew behind as he ran towards the one person he could not lose. Back in the council chambers, the Jedi feel a disturbance in the Force. They all felt 2 Jedi die. Obi-Wan looks at Yoda and Windu and says they made a mistake. Anakin was now certainly gone, and he was going to fall right into the hands of the Sith. The council put an APB to the Coruscant Guard to help locate Anakin. Meanwhile, Anakin followed Sidious through the halls and into the Chancellor's private office. The doors closed behind them, and inside stood the younger Chancellor Palpatine. Anakin stopped, confused to see both men in the same room. Simultaneously, Commander Fox contacts the Jedi Council and informs them that Anakin was spotted entering the Senate building with a hooded figure. Windu cursed, and Yoda said it has to be Palpatine. The council members who were on Coruscant left immediately for Palpatine's office. Palpatine spoke first, calmly. Anakin, there is something you must know. This man is me, from a different time. Anakin looked between them, shocked. Sidious nodded. We have seen your future, Skywalker, and we are here to change it. Anakin demanded the truth, and Palpatine finally dropped the act. He told Anakin that he was the Sith Lord the Jedi had been searching for, and that he had always watched over him, guiding him. Anakin stepped back, unsure, but both versions of Sidious told him the same thing. The Jedi never trusted him, not after what they learned today. Palpatine told them that together they could save Padme from the fate that Anakin feared. Sidious says in this timeline, the Jedi caused Padme's death, and Anakin lives the rest of his life alone. Anakin collapsed to the floor. He couldn't let this happen. He wouldn't let this happen. Rage and anger consumed him. Sidious stepped closer and said, "Only through the dark side can you save her." Anakin's fear and desperation grew until it broke him. Just like the moment in Revenge of the Sith, Anakin made his choice. He knelt, saying that he would do whatever was needed to save Padme, and both Sidious and his future self accepted him as their new apprentice. Just as Anakin pledged his allegiance, the doors behind him slid open, and Yoda, Mace Windu, Obi-Wan, Kit Fisto, Agen Kola, and Saesee Tiin entered. The Jedi tell the Sith to stop, that it's over. He's cornered with no way out. But when Palpatine and Sidious ignite their sabers at the same time, and Anakin stands behind them, his sapphire blade was radiating in the room. The council knew their job wasn't done. The fight begins as a dozen lightsabers flash wildly in the air. Anakin jumps through the chaos until he finds Obi-Wan, who tries to calm his apprentice down. But Anakin tells him that the Jedi were holding him back, that they never truly cared about him, only what they could give him. Across the room, the future Sidious employed the same move as in the original timeline, and sliced Agen Kola and Saesee Tiin to the floor immediately. Kit Fisto didn't last much longer as Palpatine removed his head from his shoulders. Now it was a 2v2, both Palpatine versus the Grand Master and Vice Grand Master of the Order. The fight continued for what seemed like hours. It was a stale match, no one could get through. But then Sidious found the breakthrough. Sidious blasts Yoda with a wave of lightning that forced the Grand Master to absorb it with both hands, leaving him open for a moment. Palpatine used that opening, slicing behind Yoda and driving his saber through the small master's back. Yoda collapsed instantly. At the same time, Anakin and Obi-Wan clashed in a tight corner of the office. Obi-Wan tried to disarm him with a quick kick, but Anakin caught his leg, pulled him forward and stabbed him clean through the chest. Windu fought both Sith alone, but Sidious locked Windu's blade with his own, while the younger Palpatine cut off Windu's hand and then finished him with a strike across the chest. The room fell silent. The Jedi were dead. The 3 Sith wasted no time. Sidious ordered the younger Palpatine to activate Order 66, and within moments, the clones from across the galaxy turned on their generals. But this time, Sidious refused to miss the destruction at the Jedi Temple. Together, he, Palpatine, and Anakin marched through the temple gates with the clones at their side. The 3 of them tore through every hall, every chamber, cutting down knights, padawans, and masters with no resistance strong enough to stop them. With 2 Sidiouses and Anakin leading the assault, the Jedi Temple was completely obliterated in a matter of hours. With the temple in ruins, future Sidious told Anakin that this was how it was always supposed to be, with Skywalker at full power, uninjured and unstoppable. Anakin walked behind him in silence, still replaying the Council's decision and Padme's danger over and over again in his mind. Sidious kept talking, assuming Anakin was fully loyal. He said that Padme would need to be managed, that attachments were chains, and that she would only hold him back from reaching his full potential. Anakin froze, his chest tightened. At that moment, he understood that Sidious never intended to save Padme at all. Sidious noticed this hesitation and turned with irritation.
Skywalker, your wife's fate is irrelevant. Power is all that matters.
That sentence broke whatever restraint Anakin still had. Sidious sensed the shift and smirked, believing he could still control him. But this Anakin was at full strength. Without warning, Anakin ignited his saber and charged at him with overwhelming speed. Sidious raised his lightsaber, confident he could hold him back, but Anakin swept it aside with a single strike. Sidious stumbled, shocked. He screamed at Anakin to stop, but the dark side didn't listen. He grabbed Sidious by the throat with the Force and slammed him into a marble statue, cracking it down the middle. Sidious tried to form a counterattack, but Anakin was faster. He plunged his blade straight through Sidious's chest, ending him immediately. No duel, no speech, just execution. The younger Palpatine arrived moments later and looked down at his future self's corpse without emotion.
You chose correctly, my boy,
he said, and Anakin, breathing hard, believed he had done what he needed to do to save Padme. As Sidious's vision goes black, his eyes snap open and he reappears in the Imperial Palace. He looked down at his chest. There was no saber wound. What he had just experienced was a vision, a dream. Sidious now understood the truth that he had ignored for years. If Anakin Skywalker had reached his full potential, if he had won on Mustafar, he would have overthrown him long ago. The only way to ensure the Sith's rule was simple. Vader must always remain weaker and forever subservient. If you enjoyed today's video, you must watch What If Vader Time Traveled to Kill Palpatine and What If the Kaminoans Deleted Order 66. Please check out Fantasy Sabers if you're looking for an affordable saber to add to your collection. We offer RGB, Xenopixel or Profi in various sizes and designs. Also check out our membership program to be able to watch our videos early. Thanks for watching and may the Force be with you.